did you grow up? I was trying to find that everywhere today. I couldn't find it.
I grew up in Vermont, actually.
Oh, so I'm out of Massachusetts, and I bring this up every episode. So it's nice to have a fellow New Englander doing really well for herself.
Absolutely. I actually went to school in Boston, so I share the Massachusetts love big time.
I went to Northeastern. Where did you go?
I went to BU, Boston University.
That doesn't make us enemies, does it? I feel like in the bean pot
No.
it might. In the bean,
Well, yeah, in the bean pot it does for sure. But other
yeah.
than that, no, we share you guys are in, where are you, Back Bay? No. Where is Northeastern? Is close to
Uh,
um
well, my
Symphony
first,
Hall?
yes, it's next to the Massachusetts the I get the school wrong all the time. People go there for music composition and oh my god,
Berkeley.
Berkeley. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so yeah, it's a small world because my last interview was a New England guest too. So
Oh,
it's
no
weird.
way.
Yeah, it's weird how that works. So what movies? So how did you get here? And I'm not talking about like things you've learned to hone your craft, but how did you get here? As far as the movies you loved growing up in Vermont, like what were the movies or actors or potentially cinematographers that you were like, oh my god, like this is it? They planted that seed, and forever, just you spent your life trying to kind of harnessing that.
That's a great question, actually. It's funny. I mean, I definitely love like Zygmunt and films of the 70s. I mean, those are really kind of where I grew up in the 80s, but for some reason, 70s is where I sort of my aesthetic landed. Um, but I mean, even like, I mean, I'm an 80s kid too. I mean, I really loved Indiana Jones. I think that was my
Yeah,
favorite movie as a kid.
yeah.
Don't know how that landed me where I am with Daredevil, but it's certainly in there somewhere. And then documentaries too were really big for me. Maisels Brothers, Frederick Wiseman, kind of more of the like portrait style stuff that really had to do with people and character as opposed to just like sit down interview stuff. It's more like verite, kind of fly on the wall thing. So I think it was about just people and places and really being immersed within it. So that's kind of
Yeah,
where I came from.
it's a great answer. So let me ask you this: so for those listening, you do 6 episodes, and Pedro does 2, correct?
I think I did 7 total, 7 out of 9, and Pedro did
Okay, so I'm
2. Yeah.
sorry. So it's 7 out of 9, and then he does the remaining, the balance. Let me ask you this: how is that divvied up? How is that decided upon? I mean, I'm sure you've answered this before, but I'm just so curious how that works because I've interviewed cinematographers where they've got them all. I've interviewed 5 and 5, 4. It's like I just never understand how that process works.
Yeah, it's funny. Every show is different. Like I've done some shows where I did every episode, and I think on something of this scale, it's what they traditionally do and what we did, which is you alternate. And so I set the look with the pilot block, which is the first 2 episodes, and then Pedro comes on and he does the next block, and so on. We alternate throughout. We were a little different on this one because the strike shut us down mid-season, so we had gotten through to the third block, which was my block again, and halfway through that, the strike shut us down. So when we came back, they made a new pilot, which then I went on to do. And then Pedro came back and did some of the additional stuff. And then I finished out the last 2 episodes. And originally we were meant to do 18 episodes, and we actually ended up only doing 9. So we were a unique case in the way that this show got broken down. But all told, I ended up doing, yeah, 7 of the 9. And he was very fortunately, his episode really, the bank episode, which was I believe episode 5, really didn't get changed much at all when we came back after the strike. It was kind of just as is. And so and for the most part we didn't change much at all. We just kind of shifted everything down. So it was like, this is a unique circumstance that hopefully we won't go through ever again, or not often. And so yeah, we all kind of just pivoted and kind of all absorbed and tried to like continue it through and maintain the look throughout, which was, a new set of challenges.
Yeah, that's a great answer. That's where I am right now. I just finished 5. I'm taking my time watching this show.
Cool.
I am so happy though it wasn't 18 episodes.
Yeah.
Because like there's a show, and I'll say it, and it's a good, people love it. It's called Arrow, or I think it was
Mm,
Arrow, and people love it. And it was like 24 episodes a season. And then when that happens, it's like you end up with like these filler episodes that are just like, time for me now is precious, right? So like that's the
yep.
ultimate commodity. So I'd rather watch what I'm watching now with Daredevil, action-packed episodes that get right to it. I got to tell you, Hillary, but the most embarrassing thing for me was, and I felt so sad. I was like so bummed with this. So I didn't understand the timeline of what you just said. I'm like, oh, they shot this. I forgot the writer's strikes, and we go back.
Yeah.
So I was, I was blown away by some performances, or many performances, but the one I was really blown away by was Kamar as White Tiger. I'm like, He's the first
Yeah.
Puerto Rican, person in the Marvel universe. He did. I'm watching astounded, and then I went to go look it up, and he passed away in 2023. I was like, how did I miss that?
Awful. I
Yeah.
know. It was so heartbreaking. Yeah.
Hillary, could you tell he was battling the effects of cancer while he was trying to muscle through it? Because I heard muscle through it. He did.
Yeah, he really did, and he was just absolutely the kindest human being ever and such a hard worker, incredibly dedicated. I mean, just like, when you just meet some actors and you just see it right away, like they just bring it, and he was one of those performers. And it's a testament to his performance. I mean, he was in physical pain because his character's been beat up, so you could sort of like tell that he was muscling through. And then later when we found out that that was actually the case, it's just really heartbreaking to know that he was in physical pain while playing a person in physical pain. So it was really, really just, a stunning revelation. And unfortunately, it happened when we were not working. So, none of us got to say goodbye or thank you or any of it. And I really, I mean, just a total testament to him. Like it was really wonderful that the episodes got dedicated to him and, and to his family. And it just, really, really a devastating event for that to happen. And, he did that stunt sequence on the subway, platform while he was going through it, and I think that's, again, such a testament to his hard work and just his dedication. And, I hope that the show is a great legacy for he and his family because he really, it's all there, like, he really dedicated himself to playing that character.
Yeah, so freaking young, and it was like I
Yeah,
saw that they honored him, but I didn't put his name together with the character, so I was like, oh, who's that? Like, then I was like, I was so like when I went to go look up his representatives, I was so heartbroken. I was like,
yeah,
oh my god, like this would have been such a wonderful person to talk to, but you know what? We get to watch in his, I mean, episode three. It was three, the courtroom scene, or two and three.
2 and
Yeah,
3, yeah, sort of
yeah.
split up between the 2, yep.
Boy, is he terrific, and it's like I
He's
almost
so good.
yeah, I just like the dialogue that he has, and we'll get to some of that, but like it is just a really beautiful performance. I'll leave it at that, and your words summed
Absolutely.
it up. Yeah. So I want to ask you about. So we go back to the show when it started. Netflix, was it 15, 14? Was my
He
timeline off?
was it might be 10 years ago? I'm not exactly sure on that, but I
Which
believe
which is
so.
insane. Which is insane
Yeah.
because I feel like I just
Oh,
saw
God.
I just
Yeah.
saw it. So like season one is noir, right? Am I saying that right? It's
Mhm.
like shot like a noir, and
Yeah.
then season two is like an abused yellow. Season three is like naturalistic. Is it? And yours seems to be bigger. You mentioned the 70s vibe. It definitely has that.
Yep.
So is it a point of interest to make these shot based on certain events, or is it just like how's that work? Like, I mean, I know you can't speak for what happened before you, but what do you think it is if you had to guess?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. It's sort of stranger than fiction just living in the world at the
Yeah,
moment. And I think like, we decidedly went in a really sort of naturalistic way, very grounded human storytelling way. And that's really what attracted me so much to telling the stories. These are street level superheroes. I mean, they're really just people, they're dealing with duality and identity in the same way that people are, just in a really, comic book type of situation. And it was important to me to really treat them as characters and as human beings. And the way that they navigate the world and the way that they interact with New York City and the texture of New York was such a character in the show. And so I think we grounded it, and then we have these moments that are just very cinematic and comic book that are very earned and felt super fun to shoot. And I think that that's what to me was so excited was, again, the show has a visual duality between the groundedness and a kind of more elevated, we use a lot of colored lighting, and you're not there yet, but in episode 108 there's a lot of color. And I think
yeah.
that it's just really fun to have this visual transition and evolvement as the season goes on. And so that was a way that we felt like was a great way to interpret it and bring it into like a very current place.
Yeah, I'm so excited when I get to sit down and watch it. Like it's like I'm more excited about like when I find a show that I love because there's so many shows like where I find it, I waste my time and I'm like, it wasn't horrible, but like this show, it's like every episode I'm chomping at the bit, but not enough where I want to binge watch and not be able to soak it in. I think when you're a moviegoer or you love shows, I always think it's important to do one or two tops then walk away and sleep on it, soak it up, look at the cinematography, the sound. The Newton brothers are amazing. They've been on my podcast before.
Amazing.
Yeah, they've done some.
Amazing.
Yeah, that movie, The Life of Chuck, is coming out. There's no chance I make it out of that movie in one emotion. I'm going to be like all over the movie floor, shattered with tissue boxes, and there's no way I make it out of that, Hillary.
Yeah.
There's no. But you know what? You know what scene I love is I love this scene. It reminds me of the movie Heat when Fisk meets Daredevil or Matt in the coffee shop. It's a little bit like that scene in Heat with Pacino and De Niro.
Totally.
Is that a reach or no?
No, no, it on the nose. You've totally nailed it. We use that. We borrowed from that movie. I mean, but that's a huge like North Star always. I mean, that scene is incredible, and the way that the actual movie treats it, where the coverage gets increasingly closer as it progresses. You know, by the end of it, they're in tight close-ups, and so yeah, we definitely use that as a reference. I mean, the environment was perfect, the sort of subject matter and the way that these two individuals are meeting in the real world, even though they're talking about pretty charged things, and the fact that they've really never been in the same room for a while, you know? So it was a blast, and it was on location, and New York was right outside that window, and we definitely interacted with it. So it was kind of,
Yeah.
you know, it worked on multi levels.
Yeah, I had cinematographer Dante Spinetti on the podcast, and
Great.
it was he's unbelievable. And it was a rumor, and he did last of them. He like his resume is like ridiculous. But like because there was a rumor that that scene with Pacino and De Niro it was shot separately, right? So they shot De Niro, then that was the internet lore rumor, right? But like he said, no, 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 that was shot. And
Yeah.
I love the way what you guys did. Like you paid homage to it, but it's like I just love the way they go back and forth, like just kind of the same way Pacino and De Niro do, like. I respect you, you know, you know, but if I have to take you down, absolutely stay in your lane. I think Matt says those exact words, stay in your lane or we're going to have problems. And it was it was the most threatening conversation I've ever seen. And yet at the same time, it was the most polite and wonderful conversation I've ever seen. It's, you know,
Yeah.
it's great. That's great television scenes like that.
And absolutely, and it's all about their performance, and that was another important thing for us was just making an arena where they could just perform, you know, in a scene like that for me, it's not so much at all about the camera, it's just about us supporting them and just being there to catch it, and they brought it 100%, you know, and it was just such a cool thing. I mean, the whole set was just completely enwrapped watching them, you know, you just sense it. It's just like silent and everyone's just totally engrossed. So it was a really fun. I felt very fortunate to be there just witnessing it, you know, it was great.
Do you ever forget you're behind the camera and lose yourself in the scene?
Totally, all the
Yeah.
time, yeah. I'm a
Yeah.
fan, so I'm just
Yeah.
like, "I can't believe this is my job," you know, I get so lucky, so
Well, you're lucky, but you're very good at it too, so that's a
thank
good
you.
thing. Let me ask you, see, the fidgeting has got me going nuts. So Fisk is always doing this, like you see him like during like when people are singing to him, he's like looking away. I feel like he's trying to contain a beast within. Like it's so hard for him. He's trying to maintain it. I almost feel like it was like when Bruce Banner would turn to the Hulk back in the 70s, a show. Like he's doing everything he can to calm himself. But I feel like because I'm only on five. I feel like we're going to see an eruption very shortly. I feel like people always show their true colors one way or the other. I feel like they can hide them for a while, but eventually the beast gets revealed. Am I onto something, Hillary?
You are definitely onto something. The
Yeah,
beast is coming out, and it's coming out big time. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, and, you know, Vincent does such an amazing performance thing where he is very physical and conscious of that, and he never makes it a big deal. It's just you have to be there witnessing it and watching it, and it's all part of his physicality. So, I think I saw that from moment one. I was like, "Oh, that's something we always have to be sure to capture," you know, because he wears it, and it's bubbling, and you feel it. So get ready,
yeah.
it's coming out for sure.
What do you like best about watching Vincent and Charlie? What do you like best about it? I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of things they do really well, but is there something specific each of them do on camera where you're like, oh my god, this is unbelievable?
Yeah, I mean, they both we're so fortunate because they both know their characters so
Yeah,
deeply, and so you just really feel it. I mean, it's like you're watching the show when you're on set. You're like, "Oh, that is Daredevil." Like, when he puts on the suit and he has Charlie carries himself in such an incredible way. He just has a physicality again of being that like very, you know, prolific shape and comic and also the way he holds his head when he's wearing the mask, you know, he really knows it. I think it's so innate in his just just it's under the surface, it's in his DNA. And the same with Vincent. He becomes the character, you know, his voice embodies it, his physicality embodies it. And we always sort of say, you know, is it Vincent or is it Fisk? It's like where does the line cross over? Because you really can't see it. And it's such a pleasure for all of us. And it truly is inspiring. You know, we find certain camera angles and certain lighting that feel inspired by the way that Charlie and Vincent are able to bring to their characters to set, you know? There's kind of no pretending after a certain point, you're just there to capture it, so
Yeah. Hillary, there must be such a temptation, and they're probably in a show like this where you could overact, you could go, take it to another level. But when they don't, in their non-speaking lines, and you've noticed this, and hopefully you can add to this, in their non-speaking lines, it's their mannerisms that they do when they don't talk. We talked a little bit about, what Fist does, but like Charlie too, like when he's dissecting something, he disagrees with something, you see it on his face, like
mhm.
just those little things that you're right. These guys get it. Like it's just they're perfectly cast.
They're perfectly cast, and, you know, Charlie does such an amazing thing too with just vision and sight and in the way that he, you know, holds his eyes and the way he sort of, like, holds it down, but he also is just so perceiving constantly that you sort of forget that he's playing a blind person, you know, he does it so well, and also just the way that he sort of, like he does this sort of thing when he, like, holds his head that I've noticed so often, and it's usually, like, it's not always a sensory thing, it's sometimes like a bit of a reveal, and again, it's just there for you to see it and capture it, you know, if you're paying attention. And it's been really fun to get to know all that stuff and be there with the camera to capture it and to support it, you know?
Yeah, you stole my next question. I was going to say, do you sometimes forget Charlie Cox is blind? I had that written
Yes,
down.
yes.
But it's a weird kind of thing though, because he's playing a guy that's blind, but yet he has this impeccable hearing, and those fight scenes, he has to be tempted to not to go too far, but also to sell it. Like it's a tricky balance. It's not like Al Pacino in Scent of a Woman, right, where he's just straight out, he's blind and that's it. It's got a caveat to it that's very difficult. And like you said, the way he manages it, you can't learn that in the acting school. That's silly.
No, it's really remarkable. I mean, it's just like masterful level of control and knowledge of his character and sort of just, you know, and he really informs all of us. And I think the stunts are a great example. He does so many of them himself. You know, I mean, we have an incredible stunt team. He's an incredible stunt performer who works with him too, but he's able to do a lot of it, and he really knows how. When he's Daredevil, he just knows how to perform that in a way that is exhibiting kind of these abilities. And I don't know, I don't want to speak for Charlie, but I would think he would almost say that he maybe it doesn't have sight, but he's not blind. You know, it's like he's able to perceive in such a way that he wouldn't consider himself
Yeah.
actually not being able to, you know, hindered in any way. Like he really has a whole landscape that I think that he works with.
Hillary, another cinematographer I talked to, Dan Louston, talked about protecting the actors, right, from behind the camera, protecting him. One, what is your take on that? And two, do actors ask you for your feedback? Like, Hillary, what can I do? Hillary, is there something that you're seeing? Do they seek feedback from you as a cinematographer?
They absolutely do, you know, and it really depends on the actor. I mean, I absolutely believe in protecting them no matter what, you know, and again, just creating an arena, you never wanna be too I mean, it's just a constant consideration. I never wanna be restrictive. I never wanna, you know, create a way that the shots live where we're holding back or limiting something that they feel like they're bringing. But it depends on the actor. Our cast is incredibly considerate of camera. They're really aware of it, which is, like, such a blessing to know. They know lenses, they know positions, they're very aware of, like, how they can kind of hold themselves to help us with lighting. But in other instances, you know, it's like sometimes I don't want them to notice us at all. It's like I just want them to be completely in their sphere. So it just really depends, you know. In Charlie and Vincent's case, they are constantly interacting and asking, like, does this work? You know, and can I help you? Or sometimes they're so in their zone, it doesn't really matter. It's just we're there for them, and you know, we don't want to get in their way. And so it just kind of depends on what the scene is and what we can do to help support them and the dialogue we can have. But you know, the thing for me that's king is just being there and supporting them and never wanting to do anything that comes into conflict with that if we can avoid it.
Yeah, that's an awesome answer. I have a few more questions for you. Thank you for all this time. I really
Well,
appreciate it.
thank you.
How difficult is it shooting in the city environment? Like, would you prefer to be out, in the country? Is because I feel like in the city, like I said, I lived in the city for 3 years. I almost felt like when I got back home, Hillary, to where I live in Massachusetts, the silence was like deafening. Like I was used to people yelling out windows and cars beeping their horn and a
Yeah.
car alarm was going. But then when I got home, it was the weirdest thing. Like I almost was like cringing from like the silence. Like how do you like the shooting in the city? Does it add more challenges to you as a cinematographer?
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, being from Vermont, I'm used to the silence,
There
and
you
it's
go.
it's funny. Yeah, and actually, that's where I go to reset, kind of in between jobs. I actually really love the woods and the quiet. But yeah, the city's a challenge, but like the best challenge. I mean, I, I'm someone who kind of is really attracted to hard things and challenges. I sort of, I always seem to take if there's a choice, I tend to take the one that seems more challenging. And the city's challenges are just like the best ones. They kind of present you with inspiration and all of it ends up on screen. And I think these are great problems to have. I mean, I think that if it were too controlled of an environment, I wouldn't be on my toes as much and kind of always looking for, you know, the thing to find that just makes it feel like that little element of magic. And I think that that's and I'm sure different cinematographers are different. For me personally, I like to go in with a plan, and then if something changes, maybe try and embrace it. Something out of our control, like maybe the sunset's looking amazing and the way we said we weren't going to shoot, and kind of embracing that and bringing it in as an element. It's something that the universe kind of delivered as a gift, and New York City is doing that constantly, whether you like it or not.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's a real gift that we were able to shoot in New York. It was very cool.
Another awesome thing you shot was Run. So good, like
Oh,
so
thank
good.
you.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
good.
I love that movie. Yeah,
What do you would you prefer? I not prefer, but is there anything in a situation like that where you're the cinematographer versus like a situation like this where you and Pedro are splitting? Is there anything more not beneficial, but is there anything that is I don't even know how to phrase this. Is there any when you're not sharing duties like this? Is there anything like in a movie situation like Run that you prefer? Like not that because I'm the way I'm wording this because I'm like, nah, I hate Pedro. That's not
no,
what I'm
no,
setting up here.
no,
No.
no, no.
So is there anything like when you shoot a movie like that just being the lone cinematographer, is there anything you prefer about that?
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I do love just kind of keeping it all in my head, but that comes from a place of prepping and just feeling like you just know it backwards and forwards and you're able to make all the choices. I think that, movies and TV shows being so different and movies are just so all encompassing. That one in particular, we were on location, so it was just
Mm,
like you kind of never left it at the end of the day, which I actually love and prefer, just
mhm,
staying in it. And I think the same goes for series. Like if there were a way that I could have done everything, which I don't think I would have and still survived because it was just like, it had a lot of challenges and it was a great thing to be able to collaborate with another cinematographer. But, in a perfect world, if I could clone myself and be there for all of it, I would love to because I think like keeping that consistency of just what's in my own head would be great. But I think probably everybody feels that way. It's like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, totally get it. I gotta tell you, the other thing that freaked me out is watching Michael. And tell me if you saw this as a cinematographer, Michael Gandolfini. Like watching him, I see his dad's mannerisms. I see the speech
totally.
movement. I see the speech pattern. I'm like, this is. I had to pause it. I'm like, I'm starting to freak out here. Like he has his dad all over him. Like the way he speaks, his mannerisms, his speech pattern, the way he walks, the way he looks. Like this is Tony Soprano as I live and breathe. Like but like he does such a great job of not being the same actor as his dad. He's very much different. But as far as appearance, there is no question that his dad is who he is. Like he is his father's child. So it's amazing watching it. As a cinematographer, do you see those little intricacies, those little details?
Absolutely. I'm a huge fan of his dad's and of Sopranos and Edie. I worked with Edie Falco in a movie this year and massive fan of hers. Yeah, Michael is incredible. He's one of my favorite we have. I mean, he's just such a kind person. He knows everybody's name on crew. He goes out of his way to say hello to and good morning to everybody.
Hmm.
And, I think the rumor, obviously, he'd never worked with his dad, but the rumor was his dad was very similar, was a very kind person and
Yeah.
very dedicated. And I think Michael absolutely embodies that. And yeah, he definitely has mannerisms I'm sure he's aware of, but I think he's done a great job and continues to do a great job of separating himself, you know? I mean, he's just like he brought so much to that character on the show and these little like, you know, he's like the comic relief a lot of times, which is great. And he's you know, going into season 2, anyway, but I don't know how much I can say about that, but Michael just really brings it, and I love working with him. I love seeing scenes of him and he and Vincent together. I think they
Mm.
play off each other in a great way. So it's really really fun to have him, and yeah, I just couldn't love him more. I think it's great.
Yeah, two last questions. You kind of hinted at one. So season two, whether it's back or not, hopefully we're bringing the whole gang back, right? We're bringing the Newton brothers back. We're bringing you back. We're bringing whomever
Fingers
back. Like,
crossed. Yeah,
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 fingers
yeah,
crossed.
yeah.
So I can't. There's not much you could say about that, though, right? I bet there's not like.
We're getting going on it. I know I can say that. In
Okay.
terms of who's coming back, yeah, I mean, we have my crew wise, I'm very fortunate that most people are back. So the visual team is there, and we're really excited. And there was a lot that we had hoped we could kind of evolve visually going into a season 2, and I'm really excited that we get that opportunity to do that. So yeah, I think I mean I don't want to spoil it for you because I know you're only episode 5, but
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
some
yeah.
fun stuff up ahead.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, it's tough
yeah,
because the internet's seen everything, and it's like I'm behind on so many shows. The Last of Us, I'm behind on Daredevil a little bit, so it's like people ruin it right away. So,
yeah,
I'll end with this. So, Dexter, New Blood, you filmed that too, right? You a big part of that.
yeah. That was
So
awesome.
awesome. So, and I love the fact that they filmed in Shelburne Falls. Did you? So you were there for
Hmm.
that, correct?
Oh
It's a
yeah.
one. It's a beautiful area. The movie The Judge was shot there, which is one of my all-time favorites.
Mhm.
So what did you think of it? How long were you there for? Talk about it because it was really a wonderful series. I loved it.
Oh, thank you. That one is very, very close to my heart. I had
Yeah.
such a blast making that show. Same camera team that's on Daredevil was on Dexter,
Oh,
and
nice,
yeah,
nice.
really, really good folks, and incredible cast, incredible. The team behind it was amazing. Just and it was I was so fortunate to be a part of that. It was truly a highlight of my career and just life. But yeah, we shot in Devon's, Mass. That's where the studios were, New England studios, and then we shot. The town was Shelburne Falls, and so I
Shelburne
think
Falls,
we were
right?
there for I want to say like a month. I mean, it was a good amount of time. We built his cabin in the woods, kind of outside of Devon's, and so that was a major location for us. And then we were in Shelburne Falls for a good chunk of it, and we chose the show chose that area because of the snowfall. So we shot. It was a cross-boarded show, meaning that we shot all the winter stuff up front. So it didn't matter whether it was episode 1 or episode 10. We kind of shot it all together. So on any given day, it was the first episode and the last episode kind of
Right,
just
right,
to
right.
prioritize. So it was amazing. And Shelburne Falls, I think every single person on that show loved shooting there. I mean, it was a dream. It's beautiful. The town was super sweet to us. We were very aware of the judge. And so it was just like, yeah, it was awesome. It was such a cool opportunity.
Oh, that's great to hear. What can you say about future projects for you? You hinted at one before. What can you say? What's coming out that you can talk about that premieres, whatever? The floor is yours, Hillary.
Oh, thank you. I just had a movie premiere actually called The Parenting, which is a total departure from Daredevil. It's like a comedy horror, real blast to make. We had one of our big references was Poltergeist, and a lot of '80s horror. So we had a blast, and it was incredible cast: Edie Falco, Brian Cox, Lisa Kudrow, Parker Posey. I mean, we really got lucky. And then after that, I'm on this next season, and then we'll see. I'd love to go back to movies for a minute to see, and
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, you're super talented and you rock,
No,
and I
thank
love your
you,
work, and I
thank
love
you.
like with guests like you. I'm so excited what the next project is because I'm saying I just you kind of fall into a whether it's an actor or a screenwriter, you kind of fall into a rhythm with what you're going to see. It's almost like an expectation, and it's just so great to have it fulfilled, and it's great to see that you're doing well for yourself. So compliments across the board, Hillary.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this time, and it's
Yeah.
awesome to meet you. And thanks just so much for the great questions. It was really a blast to talk.